What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. The early days of NFL free agency are already behind us, and we've had a lot of change in the NFL already. So what I wanted to do in today's video is give you guys, at least as of right now, at the time of this recording, some winners of NFL free agency as we head into NFL draft season. So if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you guys go hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the NFL draft, but without wasting any more time, let's hop right into today's video and let's talk about 10 winners from NFL free agency. All right, so the first winner that I want to talk about in NFL free agency is going to be Caleb Williams, quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Now, Caleb, he should possess top 10 upside in 2025 with some massive upgrades to his offensive line. Now, this offensive line unit could very well sneak into the top 7 as far as offensive line grades go next year, being led with some consistency from Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright at the tackle positions, but also new additions of Joe Thuney, Drew Dahlman, and Jonah Jackson beefing up the interior of the Chicago Bears offensive line. Now, we already know that Caleb Williams has a plethora of weapons. We don't need to talk about all of those weapons. We did that exhaustingly almost at some points last year. But as if those weapons weren't already enough, there are already a ton of rumors about the Bears potentially seeing an upgrade at the running back position. We've even seen some Ashton Jeanty rumors this offseason. But the one thing that we have to take as fact is that they did upgrade the coaching in this offense. At least that's what we think so far. It is going to be Ben Johnson. Obviously, we know that they have done everything so far this offseason to help Caleb Williams. The offensive line upgrades there in free agency are the cherry on top to all of the additions they've done so far. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, this should be on the rise going into year 2. Now, keeping it kind of similar, I want to talk about JJ McCarthy of the Minnesota Vikings. He's a winner for me in free agency so far, with Sam Darnold taking a payday from the Seattle Seahawks. It does look like JJ McCarthy is gearing up to be the Vikings full-time starter in 2025. And not only that, but just like Chicago, Minnesota started to build around JJ McCarthy as well, making sure that he plays behind a potential top 5 offensive line in 2025 with the additions of Ryan Kelly and Will Fries to an already established Pro Bowl talent in Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw at the tackle positions as well. So this was a key factor for the Minnesota Vikings in the offseason. They wanted to increase that offensive line talent. They did do that so far. They also chose to bring back veteran running back Aaron Jones, who is going to give JJ McCarthy a very well-rounded offense of weapons next year. Sam Darnold, he was a fringe QB1 in 2024 with a lesser offensive line and less rushing upside than JJ McCarthy. So if JJ McCarthy is legit, he should possess a very similar upside, if not more, and he would be a massive value at his current ADP. Now, the only thing that worries me, and the only thing that at the time of this recording hasn't happened, but there are rumors, is maybe Aaron Rodgers does come to be the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen, but I've been wrong before. I have been wrong before. JJ McCarthy, though, as of right now, with no Aaron Rodgers on the roster, it does look like this is going to be a very enticing offense for JJ McCarthy to step up and be the lead guy in. Now, sticking here in Minnesota, I also think Aaron Jones is a winner of the free agent process so far. As I mentioned, the Vikings, they did choose to bring Aaron Jones back on a 2-year, $20 million deal, and he is behind an upgraded offensive line this year, so he should continue to possess some RB2 upside in this Vikings offense. Now, he's coming off of a season where he played in 17 games and went for 1,500 all-purpose yards, and he should be one of the cheapest veteran buys at the moment at the running back position, even if Minnesota chooses to add a rookie running back in the draft. And I do think that that would be the best case scenario for Minnesota. I think Aaron Jones probably needs to be spelled with another back at this point in his career, but even so, I do think Jones currently is a value, being valued as the running back 36 over on Keep Trade Cut, and even in a little bit of a timeshare in Minnesota, I think he possesses top 20 upside at the running back position. Now, another veteran that was a winner in this free agent period was Davante Adams. Davante Adams was released from the New York Jets. He did sign a 2-year, $46 million deal with the Los Angeles Rams to go play that Cooper Kupp role opposite Puka Nacua in 2025. Now, although there have been some signs of regression from Davante Adams' game overall, especially over the last year or so, I do think playing in this Rams offense opposite a dominant wide receiver 1 in Puka Nacua is going to be a very good change of pace for a guy like Davante Adams. And at his current cost and where he's being valued in drafts right now, I do think that he has the ability to still give you wide receiver 2 numbers with wide receiver 1 spike weeks for the 2025 season, so he should also be a value in drafts. Now, because of Davante Adams, I also think that Matthew Stafford is a big winner in free agency so far. There were definitely plenty of rumors about Matthew Stafford potentially leaving the Los Angeles Rams this offseason, but Stafford, he ultimately agreed on a restructured contract with the Los Angeles Rams, keeping him around for at least the 2025 season. Now, in my opinion, this was the best case scenario for Stafford all along, considering the Rams were able able to upgrade from Cooper Kupp to Davante Adams on an offense that's going to be looking to at least try and run it back again this year, trying to compete for a Super Bowl. And although Stafford didn't necessarily have the greatest season on paper in 2024, I think that's mainly just due to offensive injuries that they had early in the year with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. But Stafford should be an elite veteran option for you, especially in those super flex leagues where you're looking to get some guaranteed points in your QB2 slot. Now, another quarterback that also is on the rise at the moment is going to be Justin Fields. He did sign a 2-year, $40 million deal with the New York Jets, and he saw over $30 million in fully guaranteed money just to be the starting quarterback of the New York Jets. So I do think that he does immediately become fantasy football relevant as the day one starter with job security, and he's also going to be reunited with his former college teammate in Garrett Wilson. Now, I called this pairing almost a month ago. It was clearly the best case scenario for Justin Fields, and to me, at least from the outside looking in, as for fantasy football points, I think his rushing upside alone puts him in the QB1 upside conversations, as Fields was QB9 last year in fantasy points per game during his time as the Pittsburgh Steelers starter, and should have some upgraded weapons with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall instead of George Pickens and Najee Harris. Now, speaking of Najee Harris, he is also a winner in this free agent cycle to me. He did sign a 1-year, $9.25 million deal with the Los Angeles Chargers, which they did look like one of the premier running back destinations for a rookie running back. However, it looks like LA has chosen to address the position in free agency instead with Najee Harris. Now, this doesn't fully eliminate LA out of the rookie running back conversations. They can still go get a guy on day 2 or day 3 just to compete with some reps behind Najee Harris, but it does feel like Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh, who ran the football the 11th most in the NFL in 2024, are content trotting out Najee Harris, who has proven to be a consistent, solid runner and will be behind an upgraded offensive line here in Los Angeles. I think Najee should be a very safe running back to play with some RB1 upside in certain matchups, and if LA fails to address the running back position in the NFL draft, he could sneak into that low-end RB1 type of territory, as we've seen him do in years past earlier on in his career. Let's move on to the tight end position. I think a tight end winner in this free agent cycle is Evan Engram of the Denver Broncos. Now, he did get let go by Jacksonville to open up some cap space, but it might have just came as a benefit to Evan Engram after all, because he did sign that 2-year, $23 million deal to become Sean Payton's joker tight end in Denver. Now, Denver needed some additional pass catching options. Payton has talked about needing his joker, and Engram has a legit chance to see 100 plus targets again here in 2025, just like he did in 2023 when he finished as the tight end 2 overall in PPR leagues. As the new safety blanket for second-year quarterback Bo Nix, Engram should have some major upside here in 2025, and I think he has the chance to sneak into a top 5 conversation, especially if he does see the target volume that he saw just a year ago. Now, another player that I think is a winner of this free agent cycle is actually Evan Engram's former teammate, Bryant Thomas Jr. of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Bryant Thomas Jr., it feels like every single move that the Jaguars have made has come to a benefit of BTJ. The Jacksonville Jaguars have added head coach Liam Cohen, who had a ton of success last year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and should help jumpstart this Jaguars offense. Jacksonville also added some O-line help to help protect Trevor Lawrence so he can have a little bit more time to throw and hopefully find some more Bryant Thomas Jr. deep balls. And lastly, the Jags, like I said, have cut or traded both Evan Engram and Christian Kirk, who were the only solidified competition for targets last year for Bryant Thomas Jr. Now, BTJ is coming off of an incredible rookie campaign, and there's a legit chance that his 2025 season could be even better considering the moves that Jacksonville has made this offseason, and he's a player that we should be firmly viewing as a fantasy football wide receiver 1 with the wide receiver 1 overall upside in 2025 with a real chance of leading the NFL in targets. Now, the last player that I think is a little bit of a sneaky winner of free agency so far, maybe not as big as some of the other guys, but a guy that I have to acknowledge no matter what, is going to be Chase Brown of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Cincinnati had said that they wanted to add another running back to take some of the work off of Chase Brown's plate, and they did so by adding Samaje Perine. Now, Samaje Perine is likely not going to make an impact in this offense, so in my opinion, Chase Brown has dodged some of those bullets as far as running back help comes in free agency, and although the NFL draft could be where Cincinnati chooses to look for the upgrade, Brown has been a sneaky winner so far. Now, with Jamar Chase seeing a massive extension and rumors of T. Higgins just behind him following that extension, there are very likely not many free agent running backs that will be in the market for Cincinnati. They're probably not going to have a ton of money to keep spending, especially with the money that they've just allocated to the offense. And if the Cincinnati Bengals fail to add a day 2 running back in the NFL draft, it should be a clear path for Chase Brown to at least replicate some of the numbers that he put together in 2024. So there you guys have it. That is 10 winners so far, at least at the time of the recording, through NFL free agency that I think their stock is on the rise heading into the NFL draft season. If you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, make sure while you're down there to hit that subscribe button as well, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the NFL draft. And last but not least, make sure you go join our free Discord. We do have a free Discord linked in the description, helping you guys with your Dynasty Fantasy Football teams 24/7, 365. But with all of that out of the way, I have nothing else for you guys today, so I will see you on our next video. Until then, peace out.